This event started at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now. With respect to numbers, we have right now, and as you already know, this could change throughout the day. We do know that there are 26 injured people who are at UMC Hospital. We know we have 4 at Truro, 4 at Ochsner Baptist, 1 at Tulane, but even as I was walking out the door, I believe I have an unconfirmed additional people who have been taken to other area hospitals, possibly on the east side. But we will give you as many correct numbers as we can as the day progresses. It is a very tragic situation for me to tell you that we know we have 10 people that this man killed.
And all I'm thinking, hey man, it's New Year's and this happened. It's like we're living in wild times, man.
On Bourbon Street. That is why we do not want anyone on Bourbon Street today. Wherever you see yellow tape, please do not violate this tape. This is in order to protect and stabilize the scene. We have information to a certain degree of the demographics of those who are in the hospital right now. We do not know at this point how many could be tourists versus locals, but from the information I have right now, it seems the majority are locals versus tourists. What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired on our officers from his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable, and we will give you an update on them. I have yet been able to go to the hospital. I will be leaving here for us to go visit our officers. We have called in every officer that we have. We have so much appreciated our partnerships who have also offered us staff. Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades,
which is the suspicious thing in this story,
to conduct this, he was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation. And with that, I am going to be asking, this is the assistant agent in charge. This is Agent Duncan, Special Agent Duncan, and she has taken over this case on behalf of us and the FBI. As always, we will be in partnership with all of our partners. But Agent Duncan, if you want to have a few words for everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Alethea Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not.
And I'm like, why would you say that? You found bomb, but not a terroristic attack. He drove a car, hit multiple people, many people passed away, not a terrorist attack. And maybe I'm wrong, but even Biden agrees with me.
The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. Why it happened, whether the Department of Justice, including the FBI, for working non-stop to investigate this heinous act. The FBI is leading the investigation to determine what happened, why it happened, whether there was any continuing threat to public safety. Here's what we know so far. The FBI has reported to me the killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago. The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack. Possible explosives were found in the vehicle as well, and more explosives were found nearby. The situation is very fluid, and the investigation has a preliminary stage.
And there you have it. He seems to be a different person back in the day, articulate, as if everything was going well.
I'm Shamsuddin Jabbar, property manager with Blue Meadow Properties and team lead at the Midas Group at Core Realty. I just want to say hello and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and now live in Houston. And I've been here all my life, with the exception of traveling for the military, where I spent 10 years as a human resources specialist and IT specialist, where I learned the meaning of great service and what it means to be responsive and take everything seriously, dotting I's and crossing T's to make sure that things go off without a hitch. So I've taken those skills and applied them to my career as a real estate agent, where I feel like what really sets me apart from other agents is my ability to be able to, one, be a fierce negotiator. So not only do I brilliantly market your property to make sure it gets sold as quickly as possible or gets leased as quickly as possible, but I'm also going to take every ounce of energy and putting it into negotiating for you and for your property to get the best deal that you can possibly get for it.
So he seems kind of chill. Something flipped, something changed him, because he was an IT specialist and a human resource specialist. So I don't think this has anything to do with PTSD, but we might need more information.
Something just doesn't sit right with me out here in New Orleans, not with the way things went down. Because for one, we all know, everyone in the world knows, on New Year's Eve and Mardi Gras, New Orleans is one of the busiest places in the world. And they have blockades, barriers, to block off certain streets in the CBD area, which is downtown Bourbon Street area. And this particular night, so say the area he came through, the barriers were being worked on or whatnot. Why would you wait until New Year's not to have barriers? You could have done this weeks or months prior to this. But say, for instance, you did have to work on it. Where were the police cars to sit right there to make sure no one goes through? Doesn't sit well with me. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion. But I also am opinionated about the fact that after they pew him, and they start searching his vehicle, they find what they say may be explosive devices in an ice chest or a cooler. And that doesn't sit well at all. Come on, y'all. Y'all start thinking to yourself, because why would you be just driving around with this stuff and you're not going to use it? Would you be driving around with it and then you want to get pew just so people can see it and they go into a panic and a frenzy? If there was things like that in there, don't you think they would have drove to another street that you could drive through if the barriers were there and let it do its thing? A lot of this doesn't make sense, but I'm going to tell you something. To strike fear into the hearts of millions of people, it's very easy for this terrorist thing to start moving, because the same night that damn vehicle in front of Trump Tower, it catches on fire. The same night. But this also happened right before the Super Bowl out here. So now they prolonging that. Also saying now that there were 3 male suspects and a female suspect that they're looking for now that could possibly be affiliated with him. This all smells to me like another one of those things where the people are to panic and to get paranoid and start freaking out so that our government can step in and say, hey, we're here to save the day, but we're going to push you all away for a little while we take care of what's going on. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I just can't trust a lot of things they do. And it's sad when all these people losing their lives. This is what's really killing me. People lose their lives for nonsense.
He actually has a point. Even CNN is covering the story as if, I don't care if I'm left-leaning or right-leaning. This doesn't make any sense.
I mean, she was an older Hispanic woman, probably in her mid-30s. She had a wedding ring on her finger. We were that close.
I just didn't know if there were kids or, any kids around.
No, there was no small.
It was 3 a.m.
No small children.
Okay.
No small children. I mean, none in our area.
Right. Did you see, when you were looking down from the balcony, did you see the truck? Did you see the suspect?
Oh, he had been gone. That's what I was telling other news sources. Like, we have these hydraulic steel barriers from past events. Last Mardi Gras, this happened to an extent, maybe not terrorism, but still people getting hit in mass population with vehicles. Those barricades were not up, period. They had the flimsy orange ones that you could just push over with your finger. We actually thought it was kind of odd, because usually when you get to Bourbon Street, you can turn your back to Canal and not worry about anything. You can just walk the street, especially on New Year's, and there were still vehicles coming after 8 p.m. And then, I mean, the fact that they never raised them, that's how this guy was able to get down Bourbon Street so quickly and cause so much damage. Because there's other barricades past the Canal and Bourbon intersection. There's more like every 2-3 blocks. So what was 10 or 15 dead and 30 wounded could have only been maybe 5 and 15. I mean, who can say, but it definitely would have been minimalized, because this truck could not go around those barricades. Everything in New Orleans in the French Quarter has a balcony. All the balconies have poles, several steel poles, and there's no going around anything. If that barricade's up, that's a wrap. That's your end.
So just to be clear, you're saying that they were just flimsy orange barricades that weren't up. They
Yes,
weren't the same barricades there as
metal ones were
elsewhere.
completely down. No, the metal ones were absolutely not engaged.
Wow, and that struck you at the time, right?
Barricades were down.
Because there was that
I mean, yeah,
2017
because we had-
incident with Mardi Gras where a drunk driver drove through, and so from what my understanding is, they increased security measures in that area because of what happened there. But what you're saying is that you didn't see the security that should have been there to protect the revelers.
Yeah, we were walking right across it. Like, as you walk down Bourbon, you cross like 5 of them. And then even when you turn off the side streets of Bourbon, there's more. Like, the precautions are there, and everything's implicated. You just have to use it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen the video. It's horrible. The aftermath, it's horrible. But how fast the car went through that location, you didn't have a chance. You didn't have a time to think about, do I have human right? Is that stuck? No, you're done. It went so fast. And the fact you're supposed to have barriers. And a year before it happened already with a drunk driver. And so many barriers didn't go up. I don't know.
He's coming up all onto the sidewalk and all that, but by that time we had already made it inside the divot, or is what I thought. Until once we get inside the divot and the car passes, I turn around to like look who's all in here because it was supposed to be 3 of us. I turn around to look who's all in here, and I don't see my friend. And I just start screaming and yelling, and I'm like, nah, where are you? And I turn and I look in the street, and her right leg is flipped like horror movie style over her back, and it's just blood.
Nobody should experience this ever in their lives. That's the most horrible thing, that you think you're safe and you're calling out and you don't hear that voice. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, or your friend. Nobody wants to feel that.
I just heard a boom.
Oh my God. I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually outside. I thought it was a person in the hallway. Holy shit.
Just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left again. You'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with the tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars. What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a cyber truck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump Hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
Going back to the truck, so that flag that's covered up is an ISIS flag, and allegedly that's who he has allegiance to. Now here where it starts to get really weird. Ford's X account got hacked a few days ago saying all eyes on Gaza, Israel is a terrorist state, free Palestine, and Ford even made a statement saying their account was compromised and they did not make those posts. Then you have an attack with a Ford F-150 Lightning with an ISIS flag. What are the chances? And who could have hacked that Ford X account? Oh, I don't know, maybe a military IT specialist? But it doesn't stop there. This actual car was at the scene of another attack. Can anybody tell me why that same truck was in front of this Cybertruck that blew up in front of Trump Towers in Las Vegas? You can't make this shit up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there were 2 terrorist attacks, and now they use Elon Musk's Cybertruck, as if Elon Musk is an island of Trump, so we're going to send the message. All you did is a good propaganda for Cybertrucks that we should never use them as explosive measures. Let's just say that. So here you have him driving a car as if everything is okay. There's the police car. He's going to drive around it, and he's going to be on a street where there ain't no barrier, but a lot of people. And I think because of this, whenever there's a gathering and there is no barrier, we're kind of normalizing we need to live in fear. I don't think that's a good idea.
Can I say something right quick? Tell me who you're with. WDSU. Okay, and CBS.
NBC's over here on the right.
Oh, that's an unusual position.
I don't get it.
You wouldn't. Look.
And you might be wondering why he pushed this FBI agent, because this was his face when she was talking, because he wanted to address it a little more direct.
This sounds to be some sort of sleeper cell, a terrorist cell on U.S. soil. Is that what you're hearing?
Well, there's a fine line between anger and grief, and I'm pretty much straddling that line right now. If you don't believe in objective evil, all you need to do is go walk about 30 or 40 yards that way. We still got bodies on the ground. That's one of the reasons we postponed the game. I'm here for two reasons. Number one, these are my people, and these are my people's guests. Number two, I don't want to hear from anybody in the federal government that they don't have the resources. Now, the White House, the FBI, Justice, Homeland Security are in charge now. We're cooperating with them. I want to give them a reasonable period of time. There's a lot of information out there. Some of it is actually true. I want to give them a reasonable period of time, but they need to saddle up and ride. We need to find out what happened here, and it's not going to be covered up. We're going to tell the American people exactly what happened.
And one thing I can confirm, the truck and the Cybertruck got both rented from a place called Tura. I don't know.
Also, they said that this truck was sitting on a dealership lot on December 14th, then got bought, then got put on Turo, which then he rented. Not to mention that Cybertruck that was in front of Trump Tower was also rented on Turo. Then the Airbnb he rents actually catches on fire and dozens of people had to evacuate. How convenient. Now the question is, are we really under attack? Because the FBI just found 150 homemade bombs in a Virginia home, which is one of the largest seizures they've ever had.
All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a private investigator. This is all alleged. But still, with all this information that we're gathering, I see a lot of suspicious all over and everywhere.